Without further ado, here is Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mary. Hey, can I get a round of applause for all of you for taking time to build your business? That's right. I know it's a lot to take time out of your day, and though you're learning, it's like, oh, I could be doing other things. So congratulate yourselves. I think it's very important that you're working on your business, not just in your business. I'm going to go ahead and get started. One of the things that I think is really important is we're going to talk about business plans now. How many people have created a business plan? Like everyone's hand should be in the air, right? How many of us need to create a business plan? Okay. So I've been in business since 1997. I started my junior year at Hofstra, and why I bring this up is because, you learn a lot over the years, and it's important that those of you who are starting out, you are thinking about the planning stages, but also those of you who already have a business, you need to be going back and reflecting. It's very important. Now, one of the things that I want to condition, and I mentioned in the first session, so for those of you who sat through the design side of AI, you'll notice that AI prompting and AI in general works better if you're working with someone who understands what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm bringing this up because we're about to do business plans. And so understanding what goes into a business plan, knowing what people need from you, you're going to get different outcomes. So I do want to put a little plug in. I know Mary's mentioned that she's a SCORE mentor. Definitely sit down with somebody who's a specialist at writing business plans, because your prompts will be better when they sit and give you questions and they ask you questions about your business. You can take their questions and use them in some of the things we're going to learn today. So, I want to start with a couple of the different things that I didn't get a chance to. Kind of just jumped right in the design because there was so much to cover. But we're going to talk about these tools today in this section. So the first one is Gemini. Gemini is the gemini.google.com, and Gemini is the free version of Google's AI. So if you didn't hear me say this in the last session, I'm going to say it again. Every AI actually has its own personality. Do you guys have different friends, like the friend that gives you the tough love, and then the friend that gives you the nurturing love? Am I crazy here? Just shout it out, right? I'm not crazy, right? Yeah, right? So, you ready? Gemini's the nurturing love. I really like them. ChatGPT, she's like a meh. She's so neutral. She has no personality at all, right? Okay, Claude.ai, she went to college. She is like so cerebral, right? And you're laughing at me, but there's a reason for this, okay? And if you haven't heard this about AI yet, has anyone heard this about AI? Yeah, this is true. I listened to tons of stuff, and I was like, I need to see this for myself. And I'm like, it really does. So Perplexity, again, direct to the point, and they think they're like the bomb, right? Like their stuff is like, we got it. They're actually one of the biggest head-to-head with Google, because more people are now starting to use Perplexity to go there instead of going to Google to ask questions. So I bring it up because, you'll see that. And then, again, last but not least on our list here is Copilot, which is Microsoft. Microsoft is just kind of Microsoft. It just kind of gives you the outcome. It doesn't really give you any personality to it. So I'm bringing it up because as we're going to talk about different parts of your business plan, you might want the nurturing friend when you're doing your copywriting, and then you might want the tough love when you're doing your finances. So another thing that you're going to see with these tools is that not all of them can do all the things. So what do I mean by that? I mean that some of them allow you to upload into them, and some of them search the internet, and some of them end their knowledge at 2021. Does anyone know what tool I'm talking about? Say it out loud. ChatGPT, that's right. So even though we have new GPTs, we always have to remember that the knowledge and the information within that platform ends at 2021. Okay, so what you put into it is really helpful, and that's one of the things we're going to learn today. Another thing I want to remind us about, if there's something proprietary in your business plan, because we're going to upload a business plan in here today, we're going to look at it, do not put it in there. So take a version of your business plan and make one that's a little more vanilla, meaning if there's some secret formula that you want to show the bank, but you don't want ChatGPT or Perplexity, please remember that these are not confidential systems. So when I use it to evaluate financials, I don't put the company information on it. I change it from the company to HYK or LMN. Like, I just make sure that there's no real, I can figure out who this belongs to. Make sense? Okay. Really want you to know that, because I think we forget, and I love these tools. I really drink this Kool-Aid, and I use this stuff on a daily basis. And I have done this with clients' data. I'll take P&L systems and put them in here, and I just strip out who they belong to, because I just need some way to fast analyze. So I want to make sure we're clear about that. Okay, so what should your business plan have? Let's ask AI. So first off, I want to ask this way. So how we prompt and what information we give will give us different outcomes. So for someone who might be starting, you should say, I am starting, fill in the blank. What kind of business are you starting? And can you help me with my business plan? For those of you who have been in business a little longer and you want different advice, you might put in, I own a blank kind of business. We have been in business for X years, and our revenue is Y. Again, we're not telling them our business name, but we're giving them some insight. Can you help me with the business plan for the bank? Very different results will come up, because what you're looking for as a startup and the advice you'd get as a startup will be very different from someone who's been in business longer. So Perplexity replied to my simple quote, I should have an executive summary, company description, market analysis, product/service description, because remember I didn't say what kind of business, marketing and sales strategy, operating plan, management team, financial projections, and appendices. Does that sound like a business plan, everybody? Excellent. Okay. Now, I sent the same thing into Copilot, and Copilot replied, same elements. Look at that. Executive summary, company description. It left out a couple of other things. So it says organization and management, but it didn't give me the same depth that Perplexity did. Okay? And then Gemini, which Gemini's become my buddy. I never Google anymore. I go to Gemini for everything now. Define your software and target market. No one told me to do that. Wait, it was what assumed in the marketing section, right? So again, remember, this is the nurturing one. Craft a compelling value proposition, market research and competitive analysis, develop your business model, outline your marketing and sales plan, build and develop plan, financial projections, team and management. It's a little different from the last two. Remember, this is your nurturing buddy. You know what else the nurturing buddy told me? Love this. Tips. Like this. This was interesting. Keep your business plan concise and focused to 20 to 30 pages. This is for the startup, by the way, and I agree with this, because one thing I've learned from even working with mentors, because like I said, I've been in business for 27 years. So I went to go buy a new business this last year, and it didn't go through, but I had to write a brand new business plan because I was acquiring another company. I haven't had to do this in a while, and I had to go to the bank to ask for money. And this was a lot of like one of the things that advisors told me, make sure it's not too long, and they're not going to read all these things. So tailor it to your specific audience, very important. Use clear and concise language, and regularly update your plan. Totally different advice. So, not every tool is perfect for every job in AI. And by the way, again, all three of these are the free versions. I am not using the paid versions. I want to mention that. Another thing to note for those of you who've wondered why paid versus free, the paid versions are usually multiple times faster and more intelligent. So for example, ChatGPT is well known to go from, let's say, their base at 3.5, which is their free version. When you go to 4.0, they tell you it is 6 to 10 times more intelligent. Therefore, it loses its redundancies. I will tell you, sometimes picking a tool like that is the best $20 a month you will spend. Okay. So what's the point? And by the way, I generated this image and I actually put that into Copilot. Just a reminder from our last session on design. See what it did with copy on the image, AI generated. You'll want to use the different things. Find the right mix for your budget. So my recommendations, and this is completely me, for content writing, I am really all about the paid version of ChatGPT if you properly train it. I have been training my ChatGPT on writing my LinkedIn posts for 1.5 years now, and it's got my voice down really well. Okay? Yes, she just went, really? She's doing it? I do. I don't let it write for me. I write my post. I put it in. And then it tells me, and I say, no, I don't like that, and I fix it, and I put it back in. And I tell it, don't over-emoji me, right? So when you keep training it, after a while, you just write it, and it gets your voice like that. Claude.ai, the free version is much more cerebral, as I mentioned. It's going to be more elegant in its content writing, but the paid one it will blow your mind. I dropped a paid version of Claude AI into an AI checker. So do you all know there are AI checkers out there? Oh, so head nod, you gotta tell me, right? No, I didn't know this. There are websites, and you can ask me after, I just don't remember them off the top of my head, where you can say, put this in there and say, was this generated by AI? And it will tell you 20%, 50%, right? I took an article that I generated in Claude. It said 100% human. I almost fell over. I was like, that's so cool. Now, mind you, I am a human. I will read it. I will not just put it out on the web. But it was like, oh, now I know why people love this tool so much. So, next thing, context and sentiment. So if you need to scan content for information like that, I recommend Perplexity. Perplexity is very good at sentiment intentions. This is great for anyone who wants to scan a lot of online reviews. Okay? Gemini, Claude.ai. And then for research, I really love Gemini and Copilot because they're connected to the web and they always tell you where they get their sources from. Please double check the sources. I have done this and I have found that sometimes they pull one line from a source and it doesn't really adhere to the whole article. Okay? And then for financial review, I would recommend that you use Claude AI or Perplexity. I don't mind ChatGPT but I like their specific GPTs, and I'm going to show some examples of that. All right, note, I already mentioned it, just want everybody to remember, not confidential, okay? All right, are you guys ready? Competitive analysis. All right, how do you analyze your competitors? How do you do it? Anybody want to say, how would you analyze your competitors? You go look at their websites, right? You look at their information. So, First off, you need to start with non-AI elements, right? So Google, Bing, and social media are great places for you to identify and define who your potential competitors are. I have worked with startups and small businesses for years, and sometimes people will say to me, I have no competitors. Yes, you do. Okay, you absolutely do. They just might be in a different angle, okay? So look for businesses that you'll compete with locally or online. You may not get to their level yet, but you are competing with somebody. They're similar in non-competitive markets. You need to be clear about who you are and why you see them as competitors. So write those information down. It will very much help you in your prompting. Please keep in mind your different target markets, and then think about things like, what makes you different? Are you better quality products, okay? Remember, AI can help you, but it's not going to replace you are the thinker. So, now we're going to use AI. So you guys can take these slides and go home and do this exercise. This is a homework assignment. I want you all to reach out on LinkedIn and message me and go, Jennifer, I tried it at home and it worked. Okay, so pull up about 3 pages from competitors, and you want to take their about pages. So I always go to the about page. It is the 3rd most visited page on any company's website. People land on your homepage first, go look at what else they came to look at on your website, and then they usually visit the about because people what? We want to know who we're buying from. Okay? Please invest time in writing your about page. So, here's the prompt. Review the copy from this business. Outline the brand personality, very important, tone, and details on the brand's target market. So I'm asking AI to take the about page content. Now, you cannot upload files to all AI, so sometimes you may have to copy and paste it off the internet and drop it in. Paste that content from the about page in there or use a file. So I'm going to show you the prompt. So I did this in Claude AI. You're watching I pre-record everything because I know I won't have access to the computer back there. See how fast it's going? I grabbed a business that's similar to ours in a space that we work in, and it's public information, so I wasn't worried about putting it in there because it's on the internet, okay? And you can see it's giving me brand personality, tone, target audience. Are you guys all seeing this? Yes? Come on, group nod. Yes, thank you. Okay, how long would it take you to do this? Too long, exactly. So I do this, and then I can look at this information. Now, next is, you're going to do this again. You're going to take the next competitor and put it in the same chat. Do not start a new chat. Put it in the exact same chat. Summarize the findings of the 2. So you're going to put the next one in and then tell it to summarize the findings of the 2 and put it in a table. So not only can you tell AI to analyze, but you can tell it what? To format. You guys ready? Check that out. Here it goes. Give it a second. Here it is, aspects. So literally, it'll take the company name and you'll see it'll move over in a minute. Brand personality, tone, target audience, unique aspects. If you scroll across, it will show you the information, and I did that in the video so you all can see it. What do you think? You have a question for me? Will it work if I put a link to the About page? It will in Copilot and Gemini. It will not. Remember, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, they don't necessarily read the internet, okay? So that's why you have to copy and paste or upload a file. It's a great question. Okay, so now what I recommend that you do is if you've already built your business, now you take this and do this and add yourself into that mix. Add your business and rerun that last prompt. And man, what have you learned? So what is someone going to ask you when they're interviewing you to give you money? What? How are you different? There you go. Oh, I not only know, but now I can even find opportunities. So I, as a human, can't digest this information that quickly, but the AI is doing it for me. Are you guys all going to go home and do this? Yeah. This is like a class, right? This is one of my favorite things. Okay. Financial analysis. How many people love playing with numbers? Oh, you do? Excellent. Love it. All right. So we're going to use ChatGPT 4, but I have done this in ChatGPT 4. So one of the things you can do is obviously take your P&Ls and do year-over-year reviews before you go to the bank if you have an existing business. You can do it for inventory review if anyone's ever done, okay? Identifying inconsistencies. How many of you have opened and worked across 2 different files and can't remember what's different about them? She's like, oh my God, she read my mind. It's so true. This is happening to me right now. This is actually an exact thing I just did. A client gave me their inventory I had to upload to the website. So I literally put in to ChatGPT. Review the 2 Excel files. The data should match up identically on both sheets. I told it to look at the ID and the SKU columns to make sure. I also told it which label was the newest data. And then it actually made me this beautiful, it made me a spreadsheet. It didn't put it on the screen. It actually made me a spreadsheet. And I downloaded it and it showed me the data compared from one file to the other. I can't show you that because it's proprietary information in the sense of it belongs to the client, but still, it's one of those things that like you'll go, wow, that is pretty helpful. Okay? Feedback on your numbers. So, business plan and data analysis. What would a banker ask you? What would a banker ask you? Prompt. Here we go. Act like. So, one of the biggest tricks with AI is to tell it to be a person. You're nodding your head. You know this trick, right? This is cool. So act like a business banker with over 10 years of experience and review my 1-year projections, expenses, cash flow. The numbers, no, so I didn't stop there, right? Very important. The more detailed you are and specific, and that's why I tell you guys, you need to work with someone who understands what to ask a banker, right? So look at that. Projections, expenses, and cash flow. So I'm going to give them 3 files. And then the other thing I'm pointing out is this is a business, is an apparel business. Why is that important? Because what? It should understand the trends of what? The apparel industry. Exactly. I saw you mouth those words, just like, yeah, industry. So really helpful. So there you go. I put that up there. I put all 3 files. Let's see what ChatGPT. And by the way, I did not use a special GPT. I just used the regular ChatGPT 4.0, not the 4, I'm sorry, 4, not 4.0. Here we go. Give it a second. So it's telling me it looks like the initial rows, so it told me my metadata needed working on. I was like, oh, that's great. Okay, I can fix that. So now it's going to digest and say, okay, well, we're reviewing your financials. So your operating expense, your budget here, influencers, commission. So they're pulling out things that I had in my files here. Sales forecasting, my evaluation and recommendations. And what I love about this is, in the back of the room, you probably can't see this, but let me read it to you. Your projections appear optimistic yet achievable. What does the bank want to know? If it is going to be achievable. Assuming effective execution of your sales and market strategies, given the apparel industry's competitive nature, it's advisable to keep a close eye on your market trends, et cetera, et cetera. So, I then went back and asked it, What suggested changes should I make to prepare for a slowing apparel market? And then it gives me more information. So this is a great way to leverage this technology to give you feedback before you sit down and you bring your numbers into somebody. Or if you're getting feedback from someone about your numbers and you're playing at night at home, this is really perfect. It will help you understand what you need to work on. Right, Mary? Notice how fast. That's Mary's like, notice how fast. It blows your mind. It really does. It's amazing. All right. I'm doing good here. Review and edit. I have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes? I don't think that's fair. I thought I had 40 minutes. I'm teasing you. Okay, we're going to do one more. Okay, so persona, we're going back to the banker, okay? Get a little coaching. Now you've got your business plan done. Act like the small business banker with over 10 years experience and review my business plan. Outline the areas that need more attention, detail, or research. Okay? Now, I will say, I went online and found a business plan, like one that was out there for a coffee house. Downloaded the whole thing. It's actually 70 pages. It's a pretty long business plan. Here we go. That's the fast one. 4-0. Right there. Upload the file. Okay? Acts, copied and pasted my prompt in. There it is. As a seasoned small business banker, I've reviewed your business plan, and here are some things to look at. And it will literally break it down for you. If you spend time looking over this, which will let it finish, what I love is it's pointing out, like in my projections, the financial projections are a good start, but add more detail on assumptions you're making for your forecasting. The loan request, justify the amount. Risk management, identify your risks, supply chain, things like that. It will give you back the information that you need to tighten up your whole plan. So, get a little help on your copy. At the end of writing a business plan, what's the last thing you do? Does anyone know? What is it? You review it? Almost. One thing before that. The executive summary. Does everybody know the executive summary? That's the thing that is supposed to recap the whole plan, okay? That we put at the beginning, but you really should do it at the end, okay? So, let AI help you. You just spent all that time writing that plan. You probably had a little help from AI, but still, it's a lot. Now your brain is what? It's fried. I can't think anymore. So, use your AI to go through and do some of the review, so I love that, right? So, ask it, do I have grammar? Do I have spelling errors? By the way, I am a terrible typist, and I swear Microsoft built spell check for me. I am not kidding, worst speller in the world. It's the Rhode Island accent. Everything ends in a certain vowel, and so I don't spell things correctly, right? I'm teasing. So here's my prompt. Review my business plan, identify places where there are grammatical errors, and create an executive summary. So one thing I want to mention is you do not have to do things in multiple prompts. You can put them all in one prompt. And here we go. This is Perplexity's results. Uploaded. Here we are. Here is an executive summary for Moose Mountain Cafe. Just grammatical errors. With seating for 20 patrons, it should say with seating for 20 patrons, so they're changing how I wrote it, or the one I downloaded off the internet wrote it, and it gives me also the executive summary and details. This is the same with ChatGPT 4.0. I think ChatGPT 4.0 came out better because the writing was a little better. It was a little more full. for me, and it actually identified a lot more errors. So it found more grammatical errors, because you saw at the bottom in Perplexity it only found 3. Here it found more, and they're just nuances in grammar, but it's something that you could look at and go, yeah, I agree with that. So, key takeaways. Use AIs as a coach. You don't just always have to get in there and tell it to do things. Ask it for advice, okay? Find the right AI for the right areas of your business plan. You don't have to use just one. Now you know you could use all of them. Paid tools provide different outcomes and will continue to evolve, because that's their bread and butter. They're always going to put money into the paid side. AI does not do everything. You still need to be the human and do the real thinking. And then just keep working and learning from these tools. So, did you guys learn good stuff? Thank you.